The rain hammered the streets of Manhattan like fists of regret. Each drop a reminder that time doesn't forgive the unlived life. I, Alexander Hale, stared at my reflection in the rain-streaked window of my Upper West Side apartment, a man of 50. Silver threading through my dark hair. Eyes hollowed by decades of quiet losses. I'd buried my heart after David, my partner of 15 years. Walked out with nothing but a note and the echo of our shared dreams crumbling behind him. Love. That was for the young, the reckless. Mine had fossilized into routine, board meetings at the firm, solitary dinners from takeout containers, the occasional nod to a Grindr profile I never swiped right on. But tonight, something cracked. Maybe it was the storm mirroring the storm inside me, or the bottle of scotch whispering promises of numbness. I grabbed my coat and stepped into the downpour, heading for O'Malley's, that dimly lit Irish pub on Amsterdam Avenue where forgotten souls drown their what-ifs in amber liquid. The door swung shut behind me with a groan, sealing out the world. And the warmth hit like a lover's breath, smoky jazz from the corner saxophonist weaving through the haze of cigarette ghosts and spilled regrets. I slid onto a stool at the scarred oak bar, the wood cool under my palms, and ordered a neat Macallan. Neat like the life I'd convinced myself I wanted. The bartender, a grizzled vet named Mick with tattoos snaking up his forearms, slid it over with a knowing grunt. Rough night. Alex. You look like you lost a war. I chuckled, low and bitter, the sound foreign in my throat. Every night's a ceasefire these days. That's when he appeared like a comet streaking through my gray orbit. 20 years old, if that, with curls that begged to be tugged, skin glowing under the low lights like he'd been kissed by the sun I'd long forgotten. He hopped onto the stool beside me, shaking rain from his jacket, his laugh cutting through the murmur like sunlight-piercing fog. 2 whiskeys. Mick make him doubles. And whatever this guy's having. On me. His eyes met mine, green as forbidden meadows, bold and unapologetic. You look like you could use a co-conspirator. I should have demurred, waved him off with the practiced politeness of a man twice his age. But his energy was a live wire, humming against my skin. Jamie, he said, extending a hand that swallowed mine in warmth. His grip firm, calloused from. What? Art school sketches. Late-night gigs. He didn't volunteer, and I didn't ask not yet. We talked. Or rather, he talked. Words tumbling like confetti, dreams of directing indie films that shattered Hollywood's cookie-cutter molds. Rants against the hypocrisy of a city that preached tolerance but whispered judgments. I listened. Really listened. For the first time in years. My responses peeling back layers I'd sealed shut. The whiskey burned sweet, loosening knots I didn't know were there. Hours blurred stories of my closeted youth in 80s Ohio. The AIDS crisis that stole friends before they could claim their truths. The corporate ladder climbed on eggshells to hide who I loved. Jamie leaned in, his knee brushing mine under the bar. Accidental at first, then deliberate. You're not done, Alex. You're just. Paused, like a film reel waiting for the projector. His voice dropped, husky with intent, and when our eyes locked, the air thickened, charged with the gravity of 2 worlds colliding. By last call, the bar had emptied to echoes. Rain a soft pattern now against the windows. Walk me home. Jamie asked. Not beg commanded. With that youthful audacity that made my pulse stutter. My apartment was only blocks away, a stone's throw from the Hudson's restless flow. But the distance felt like a chasm. I nodded, heart thudding against ribs I'd thought armored. The streets gleamed under sodium lamps, puddles mirroring our silhouettes dull and steady beside lithe and unbound. He slipped his hand into mine midway, fingers interlacing as if we'd rehearsed it a lifetime. No words, just the squeeze that said everything. This is real. This is risky. This is right. At my door, key fumbling in the lock. He pressed close, breath mingling with mine. Whiskey and rain and possibility. One night, he murmured against my lips. Let me show you what you've been missing. The door clicked open, and we tumbled in, the world narrowing to the heat of his mouth, the scrape of his stubble, the way his body arched under my hands like it was made for this moment. Clothes shed in a frenzy, barriers dissolving in the dim glow of city lights filtering through blinds. He was fire-eager, unscarred, exploring with a reverence that humbled me. I was earth-steady, deep, grounding his wildness with touches born of memory and ache. We moved together, a symphony of gasps and whispers, his name a prayer on my tongue, mine a revelation on his. Dawn crept in, painting us in gold, and as he curled against my chest, heartbeats sinking in the quiet, I realized this wasn't just a night. It was resurrection. But resurrections come with thorns. Morning light brought clarity, and with it, the weight of 30 years between us. Jamie stirred, his curls a mess against the pillow, eyes fluttering open with a sleepy grin that twisted something fierce in my gut. Morning. Handsome. Coffee. He stretched, shameless in his nudity, the sheet pooling at his waist like an afterthought. I forced a smile, slipping into boxers and padding to the kitchen, the marble cold underfoot. As the machine gurgled to life, doubts brewed hotter. What was this? A fling for him, a rebellion against dorm room boredom. For me, a crack in the dam holding back floods I'd sworn off. He joined me, wrapping arms around my waist from behind, chin on my shoulder. Penny for your thoughts. Or is it a Benjamin these days? I turned, cupping his face, thumb tracing the curve of his jaw. Just. You're 20. Jamie. I'm 50 and fucking gorgeous. He cut in, fierce, pulling me down for a kiss that tasted of last night's promises. Age is a number. Alex. Not a sentence. We lingered there, bodies pressed against the counter. The world outside forgotten until my phone buzzed a text from my sister. Elena, dinner tonight. Bring your smile, not your ghosts. Family obligations, the kind that chipped away at secrets. I hadn't told her about David. Not fully. Our parents' Bible Belt echoes still lingered, even in liberal New York. Jamie watched me read it, curiosity sharpening his gaze. Sister. I nodded, and before I could deflect, he added, tell her about me sometime. I'd like to meet the woman who raised a man like you. Optimism. Pure and perilous. We dressed slowly, stealing touches, and he left with a lingering kiss at the door, promising texts. Maybe dinner tomorrow. The apartment felt cavernous after, his scent clinging to sheets like a haunting. Work dragged that day. Senior partner meetings at Hale and Associates, where I brokered mergers with the precision of a surgeon, hiding the tremor in my hands. Colleagues slapped backs, oblivious to the revolution under my skin. By evening, Elena's brownstone in Brooklyn buzzed with her usual chaos. Her wife, Maria, stirring paella in the kitchen. Their twin boys, Luca and Matteo, aged 8, chasing a soccer ball through the living room. Uncle Alex, they chorused, tackling my legs. Elena hugged me tight, her eyes scanning as always therapists have it. You look different. Good different. Over wine, stories flowed. Maria's latest gallery show, the boys' soccer triumphs. I deflected, but Elena pressed gently. David's been on my mind. 20 years. Alex, you deserve more. Heat rose in my cheeks. Vulnerability was her weapon. Actually, met someone. The word slipped out. Unplanned. Her face lit. Tell me everything. I skimmed Jamie. The bar. The spark emitting the age gap. The raw night. She beamed, but Maria's brow furrowed slightly. Young. As in. I nodded. Bracing. Very. Silence stretched. Then Elena squeezed my hand. As long as he makes you feel alive. That's what matters. We've fought too hard for joy to ration it. That night, alone again, Jamie's text lit my screen. Miss your voice already. Dream of me. I did. Feverishly. But sleep evaded. Chased by what-ifs. What if this was his face? A curiosity checked off before he chased rainbows elsewhere. What if society's stares branded us the old queer and his pretty boy toy? Yet, the memory of his laugh, his unyielding gaze, pulled me under. Days blurred into a whirlwind, stolen lunches at Bryant Park, where he'd sketch me on napkins, capturing lines time had etched. Evenings in my kitchen, him burning toast while belting show tunes. Me teaching him the art of a perfect omelet. He was a force passionate about queer cinema, quoting Gus Van Sant between kisses, railing against Prop 8's ghosts. We deserve stories that don't end in tragedy, he'd say, fingers tracing my collarbone. I shared fragments of my past, the closet in college, the lover lost to the epidemic, the pride parades that felt like victories won in blood. In him, I saw echoes of my younger self fierce, unbroken, and it terrified me how deeply I craved to protect that light. But cracks formed subtly, like fault lines before the quake. One Friday, at a gallery opening in Chelsea, Jamie's world of avant-garde queers in ripped jeans and ironic tees, I felt the age like a spotlight. Whispers followed. Who's the daddy with the twink? A curvy non-binary artist sidled up to Jamie, all flirt and familiarity. Babe, you ghosted after that rooftop party spill. He laughed it off, pulling me closer. But the seed lodged. Later, in the cab home, he sensed it. Hey, they're just noise. You're my signal. We made love that night with urgency, bodies slick and desperate, but doubt lingered like smoke. The next week, my firm's annual gala loomed black tie. Power players. The closet's last bastion. Bring a date. My boss teased. I almost said no. But Jamie insisted, let's show them. Tuxedoed. He looked like sin wrapped in silk. And as we entered the ballroom, heads turned not all in admiration. A colleague cornered me later. Careful, Alex. Optics matter in this game. The words slithered, igniting old fears. Jamie overheard, storming off to the balcony. City lights sprawling below like a glittering trap. I followed, heart pounding. It's bullshit. He spat, voice cracking. They see us as a punchline, not people. I pulled him into my arms. Rain starting again, mirroring tears unshed. Then let's rewrite the script. We kissed there, defiant. Thunder rumbling approval. But the gala's fallout rippled, whispers at work. A client's hesitant email. Jamie, too, faced Barb's friends questioning his midlife crisis hookup. Tension simmered, erupting one stormy evening in my apartment. He'd come over after a bad audition. Vulnerability raw. Do you regret this? Me. The question hung, knife-edged. I cupped his face, voice steady despite the quake inside. Never. But the world's not kind to anomalies. He pulled away, eyes flashing. We're not anomalies alive. The fight escalated. Words like shrapnel, my caution called cowardice. His fire recklessness. Doors slammed. He left in the downpour. Silence deafening after. Days stretched into a chasm. No texts. No calls. Work blurred into numbness. Elena's worried voicemails piling up. I wandered the city like a ghost. Haunts of our spots mocking me. The park bench where he'd fed me gelato. The bookstore where we'd debated Baldwin. Regret gnawed what if I'd clung too tight. Scared him off. Then, on the 10th night, a knock soft, hesitant. Jamie stood there, drenched, eyes red-rimmed. I can't do without you, Alex. But I need to know, is this love? Or just escape? The question pierced, demanding truth. I pulled him inside. Towels and tea forgotten. Spilling it all, the terror of loss. The joy he'd unearthed. The love that had bloomed fierce and unforeseen. It's love? Messy. Improbable love. He collapsed against me. Sobs mingling with relief. Me too. God. Me too. We rebuilt from ruins. Slower now therapy sessions where I unpacked David's ghost. Is where he confronted imposter syndrome in a world that tokenized youth. Family met him. Elena adored his fire. The boys dubbed him Cool Uncle Jay. Work. I came out fully. Gala be damned. Clients staying or scattering freedom's price. Worth every cent. Months wove into a tapestry, trips to Provincetown beaches, where we held hands unashamed. Quiet nights scripting his first short film. My notes sharpening his vision. But life, that cruel dramatist, twisted the knife deeper. Jamie's diagnosis came like lightning gearly stage lymphoma. Caught from a routine check he'd skipped for months in our bliss. It's treatable, doctors said. But the word cancer echoed my youth's plagues. Fear Claude, not him. Not now. Chemo began, his curls falling like autumn leaves. My hand steady as he retched. I quit the firm, freelancing to be his anchor infusions. Midnight fevers. The sterile beep of monitors. He fought like a lion, scripting between nausea. His film Echoes Unseen, a queer odyssey of hidden loves surfacing. This is our story. He'd whisper. Weak but wicked. The one that doesn't end in tragedy. I held him through storms. Our love the lighthouse. Remission came after 8 grueling months. Scans clear. His hair inching back defiant. We celebrated on that same bar stool at O'Malley's. Mick toasting with doubles. To nights that rewrite endings. Now, a year on, Jamie's film premiered at Tribeca standing ovation. Tears streaming as credits rolled for Alexander, who taught me hearts don't have expiration dates. We stood together, his hand in mine, the world fading to just us. At 51, I know love isn't done with you until you choose it again. It arrives unbidden, bridges chasms, defies odds. And that night, it's etched eternal, a beacon for the next lost soul wondering if the heart can beat anew. The premiere's after-party thrummed in a Soho loft. Fairy lights strung like stars over exposed brick. Champagne flutes clinking amid laughter that tasted of triumph. Jamie, radiant in a velvet blazer that hugged his frame, worked the room with that effortless charm hugs from directors, air kisses from producers, his green eyes sparkling even as fatigue tugged at the corners. I'd learned to read him now. The subtle slump after crowds. The way he'd lean into me for recharge. Proud of you, I murmured, slipping an arm around his waist as we escaped to a quiet balcony overlooking the neon-veined city. He turned, pressing forehead to mine, breath warm. Couldn't without you. My rock. My muse. The kiss was soft. Seasoned no longer the frantic spark of discovery, but the steady burn of home. Below, taxis honked symphonies. A reminder of the night we'd met, when rain had conspired to push us together. Back inside, Elena cornered us, glass in hand, her smile conspiratorial. That dedication. You two are disgustingly inspirational. Maria nodded beside her, the twins' long abed with a sitter. Luca asked if Uncle Jamie's movie has superheroes. Told him, yes, you both are. We laughed. But beneath it, the weight of battles won lingered. Remission wasn't a cure-all. Checkups loomed like shadows. And Jamie's energy ebbed some days. A souvenir from treatment. Yet he dove into life fiercer, teaching film workshops at NYU. Mentoring queer kids with stories starved for mirrors. I watched him one afternoon in Washington Square Park. Animated gestures drawing giggles from a circle of wide-eyed teens. Stories aren't just told-theory weapons, he said, voice carrying. Use yours to carve space where none exists. Pride swelled, mingled with ache. At 51, I'd built empires of steel and contracts. But his legacy? Hearts reshaped. Futures ignited. Our rhythm had settled into something sacred. Mornings, coffee on the balcony. Him sketching storyboards while I reviewed briefs from my consulting gigs. Afternoons, walks along the High Line. Hands linked. Debating everything from Tarkovsky's Gaze to the latest SCOTUS whispers on trans rights. Evenings, cooking disasters turned feasts. His head on my lap during Netflix binges. Fingers tracing tattoos I'd hidden for Decadisa rainbow faded but fierce on my ribcage. Inked in '92 after a vigil. Sex evolved to not the blaze of that first night, but embers fanned to infernos, slow explorations in dawn light. Laughter when knees creaked. The intimacy of scars shared. You're beautiful, he'd say, tracing my laugh lines. Every year a chapter one get to read. Vulnerability terrified me still. Therapy unearthed David's abandonment as fear's root. My hoarding of control a shield against loss. Jamie attended sessions sometimes. His insights blunt. Love's not a contract to audit. Alex. It's a leap. He was right. And learning to leap reshaped me. But peace, that elusive queer, brought its own tempests. My nephew Luca's school project, Family Heroes, sparked innocence's blade. At 10 now, he interviewed us. Recorder clutched like a scepter. Uncle Alex, what's your superpower? I faltered, glancing at Jamie, who winked. Showing up, I said finally. Even when it's scary. Luca beamed. But later, Elena confessed the boys' questions at home. Why do Uncles Alex and Jamie kiss like Mommy and you? Her answer love's many shapes stuck. But it stirred my old ghosts. That night, over takeout lo mein, I voiced it. Am I enough for them? For you. The world's changing. But I'm from a time when we hid. Jamie set down his chopsticks. I soft. You're the bridge. Alex. From shadows to light. That's heroic. We made love then. Tender and affirming. Bodies affirming what words couldn't, belonging. Summer heat baked the city, driving us to Fire Island for a week grove escape, where cherry trees whispered secrets and dunes hid lovers' trysts. Friends from Jamie's scene joined, a drag queen with a voice like velvet thunder, a poet nursing a broken engagement. Bonfires crackled. Stories unfurled tales of Stonewall's fury, Pulse's sorrow, joy snatched from jaws. Jamie thrived, performing an excerpt from his next script, a monologue of a young man loving across divides. Voice cracking on, what if forever starts with now? Applause thundered. I pulled him aside after, kissing salt from his skin. That's us. He grinned. Wicked. Damn right. But midway through, a call, my father's voice. Frail from Ohio nursing home. Alex. Cancer. Stage 4. The word again. A cruel echo. Dad stoic mill worker. Who disowned me at 22 for that face. Reconciliation. Sparse calls post-mom's death. Polite frost. Now. This. Jamie held me as I processed. His silence a balm. Go. He urged. Say what needs saying. The flight to Cleveland was turbulence incarnate. Mirroring turmoil. Hospital room sterile. Dad diminished tubes snaking. Eyes sunken but sharp. Son. One word. Laced with regret. I sat, hand hovering before taking his. Dad. Words tumbled, hurts aired. Apologies exchanged. I was wrong. He rasped. Feared losing you to a world that hated us both. Tears fell. Mine first. You didn't lose me. Just delayed the hello. He nodded. Weak smile. That boy. Jamie. Happy. Very. Peace settled. Fragile but real. Back in New York. Dad's passing 2 weeks later was quiet. We scattered ashes in Lake Erie. Elena and I toasting his quiet evolution. Jamie's arm anchored me at the funeral. His eulogy read at my request a poem of redemption. He learned late, but loved deep. Autumn leaves turned, mirroring change. Jamie's workshop birthed a prodigy, trans teen Miko, whose short film on family rejection premiered at Outfest. We attended, pride swelling as credits rolled. But whispers followed industry scouts eyeing Jamie for mainstream, cautioning, tone down the queer edge. Dinner after devolved, they want safe. He vented. Fork stabbing pasta. But safe's a cage. I nodded, remembering boardrooms. Fight for your voice. I'll fight beside. Solidarity fueled us. He signed with an indie studio. Script intact. Holidays brought Elena's brood. Hanukkah lights flickering as Jamie lit the menorah. Boys entranced. Uncle Jay, tell the superhero story. Luca begged. He did, weaving our tale minus shadows heroes bridging worlds. Winter's grip loosened into spring. Our first anniversary marked at O'Malley's, mixed toast. To improbable miracles. That night, in bed, Jamie traced my heart. Marry me. Breath caught legal now. Posto Bergefell. But us. Yes. I whispered. Sealing with kisses. Planning blurred joy with logistics. Vows on Fire Island Beach. Elena officiating. But Joy's shadow loomed Jamie's checkup, a spot on the scan. Biopsy pending. Fear's vice tightened. Nights sleepless. If it's back. He started. We fight. I cut in. Together. Results, benign. Assist. Relief crashed like waves. We wept. Laughed. Made love till dawn. Summer again. Wedding dawn pink over dunes. Vows exchanged, mine. You woke my heart when I thought it stone. His. You gave me roots in your storm. Rings glinted. Simple platinum etched with now. Reception while dancing till stars wheeled. Toasts to love's defiance. Elena pulled me aside. He's your forever. Alex. I nodded. Throat tight. Now. A year wed. Jamie directs his feature queer epic of age-defying love. I produce. Shadows to his light. At 52. Heart full. I know, nights like ours aren't endings, the re-beginnings. Etched in stars for wanderers to find. The set buzzed with controlled chaos on a Brooklyn soundstage. Lights harsh against green screens depicting a fantastical 80s New York neon dreams clashing with shadowed alleys. A metaphor for Jamie's vision, love as rebellion against time's tyranny. He directed with quiet command. Action. Ringing out as actors embodied fractured souls finding solace. I watched from the shadows. Script notes in hand. Marveling at his growth from barroom dreamer to auteur. A PA handed me coffee. Your husband's killing it, she said. Casual rainbow pin glinting. Husband. The word still sparked warmth. A year into marriage. But production's grind tested us, late nights. Tempers flaring over cuts. It's my soul. He'd snap. I'd counter. Art needs edges. Not gashes. Makeup kisses mended. But strain-etched lines. Offset. Life wove normalcy's thread. Mornings, jogs in Central Park. His hand in mine drawing stairs fewer now. Progress's gift. Evenings, hosting Elena's game nights. Boys trouncing us at Monopoly. Maria's quips landing like arrows. You two are the gay version of Ward and June minus the repression. Laughter flowed. But Luca's question pierced. When you and Uncle Jay have kids, can I be the cool uncle? Jamie fielded gracefully. Someday. Kiddo. Families who shows up. Adoption talks had surfaced fostering queer youth. Perhaps, but chemo's shadow paused us. When we're ready, Jamie said. Eyes on horizon. A call from Ohio shattered routine. Elena. Voice breaking. Dad left a letter for you. Read it soon. Post-wedding. She'd found it tucked in his Bible. Yellowed pages. I waited till home. Jamie beside me on the couch. His thumb circling my knee. Words unfolded. Dad's youth. Hidden desires glimpsed in wartime letters burned in shame. His marriage a armor. My coming out a mirror to his unspoken grief. I envied your courage. Son. Live loud for us both. Tears blurred ink. Jamie read aloud. Voice steady. He saw you. Alex. All along. Healing rippled forgiveness, not erasure. But bridge. We visited his grave. Jamie placing a stone. Rest in your truth. Jamie's film wrapped. Post-production, a blur of edits in our home office, once my sterile study. Now alive with storyboards pinned like flags. Tension peaked over a scene, the older lover's doubt. Raw vulnerability. Too close to us. I argued. That's the point. He shot back. Catharsis. Sleepless. We circled. Dawn brought compromise. His vision honed. Premiere loomed at Sundance Park City, snow blanketing ambition. Flight delayed. Nerves electric. Red carpet, flashes blinding. Jamie's arm linked mine. Whispers, love you grounding. Q&A electric. This film's for every queer heart doubting its beat. He said. Hand squeezing. Standing ovation thundered. Tears pricked as awards whispered jury prize. A nod to dreams. Back in New York. Buzz built. Festival invites. Agent calls. But fame's double-edged cut paparazzi at brunch. Headlines, age gap power couple. Reductive. Jamie shrugged. Let him talk. Deeper. Doubt nod. A young actor's flirt at after-party. Innocent but stirring my ghosts. Jealous. He teased later. Terrified. I admitted. Of losing you to brighter lights. He pulled me close. You're my son. Alex. Always. Reassurance bloomed into passion. Reaffirming bonds. Spring brought Elena's surprise, pregnant. Via donor. Auntie Alex. She joked. Joy mingled nerves. Jamie dove in. Baby-proofing hypotheticals. Our talks deep in fostering now. A teen perhaps. Bridging our worlds. Agency visits stirred hearts, stories of runaways. Resilience raw. We'd be good. Jamie said. Eyes alight. Application filed. Weight stretched. Summer heat wave trapped us indoors. One night. Storm raging. Power out. Candles flickered. Us tangled on floor. Sharing secrets. Fear biggest regret. He asked. Not fighting for us sooner. I said. His, hiding my illness. Thinking you'd leave. Laughter chased tears. Love's honesty. Forge. False cusp. Call came. Matcha 16-year-old trans boy. Kai. From Texas group home. Out to family. Seeking stability. Home visit. His wary eyes. Sketches clutched like shields. Films. He asked Jamie. Bond sparked. Trial weekends. Kai's quips disarming. Teaching us patience. Holidays. His first Thanksgiving. Stuffing devoured. Stories swapped. Family. He whispered. Tentative. Jamie's sequel greenlit. Kai extra on set, confidence blooming. My consulting boomed. Queer inclusive firm. But checkup loomed. Scans clear. Cheers erupted. To us. Jamie toasted. Winter wedding anniversary. Vow renewal. Intimate Elena. Kai now. Snow fell soft. Rings exchanged anew. At 53. Heart boundless. Love's not finite, infinite. Rewritten nightly. Kai's integration unfolded like a slow bloom rose, thorny at edges. Petals unfurling in trust's light. Mornings. He'd shuffle to kitchen in oversized hoodies. Hair dyed electric blue. Grabbing toast before school runs. Night owl jeans. Jamie quipped. Ruffling it. High school proved battlefield, bully slurs. Teachers' blind spots. PTA meetings saw me advocate. Voice steady, he deserves safety. Not scrutiny. Jamie scripted PSAs. Kai starring voice cracking then stealing. Bonds deepened, arcade nights. His laughter echoing my youth's stolen joys. Therapy circles. Unpacking traumas shared. Jamie's Film Awards season whirlwind, Globes buzz. Oscar whispers. Red carpets, glittered tuxes tailored. Kai beaming from front row. Speeches heartfelt, for Kai. Alexmi anchors. Backstage. Kisses stolen. Home. Crashes into normalcy pizza. Board games. But pressure mounted. Studio notes demanding softer, queer arcs. Art or commerce? Jamie vented. We brainstormed late. Kai piping. Keep it real, that's power. Wisdom from 16. Humbled. We pushed back. Vision intact. Elena's baby arrived girl. Sophia. Tiny fists waving. Hospital vigil. Kai held her first. Awe softening edges. Like us, he said. Starting fresh. Aunt/Uncle Judy's bloomed, lullabies. Midnight feeds. Jamie's eyes misted. Our turn soon. Fostering permanent loomed courts. Home studies. Nerves jangled. Mock hearings at kitchen table. Laughter easing dread. Spring burst. Finalization hearing. Judge's gavel. Family. Official. Kai's hug crushed. Tears hot. Dad's. Word sealed it. Celebrations. Fire Island. Bonfire toasts. Kai came out further to friends. Bold. Pride parade. Rainbows everywhere. His sign, love wins. Late or soon. Summer shoot for Jamie's next, Kai's cameos. Family affair. My book, deal memoir of our night. Love's arc penned in stolen hours. Excerpts read aloud. Kai's feedback sharp, more heart. Less polish. Fall storms. Elena's scare postpartum blues deep. We rallied. Dinners. Walks. Sophia's coups healed. Kai's first crush boy from art class awkward talks. My story's grounding. It gets better. It gets us, I said. Winter's hush, Oscar night. Jamie's win speech choking. Alex. You gave me the night. Kai. The dawn. Home. Champagne with family. Kai's grin widest. At 54. Legacy's not blood, it's choice. Love's endless rewrite. Years layered like patina on bronze. Burnishing our story's edges. Kai at 18. College-bound NYU film. Jamie's Alma. Drop-off, dorm unpacked. Hugs lingering. Call anytime. I said. Throat tight. Empty nest echoed. But pride swelled his acceptance speech at graduation. Dad's taught me, love's the best plot twist. Jamie's oeuvre grew, Oscar Gold to Sundance juries. Mentoring circles expanding. A doc on queer elders. Me narrating voices like mine. Long silenced. Screenings stirred tears. Q&As. My hand in his, we prove age is ally, not adversary. My memoir launched, bestseller whispers. Tours coast to coast. Readings intimate, that bar night hook. Audiences leaning in. Jamie joined panels. Kai moderating family trifecta. Royalties funded scholarships, queer youth. Stories funded. Elena's Sophia toddled. Lucas/Mateo teens now crushes. Rebellions. Family reunions, barbecues in Prospect Park. Tales tall. Kai home holidays. Boyfriend Theo and Toshai smiles. Easy fit. Challenges crept, Jamie's knee. Chemo's ghost surgery. Rehab. I paced halls. Holding vigil. Recovery, walk slow. His wit sharp. Silver lining, more couch time. Kai visited. Scripts co-written. My 60th Loom Dread masked cheer. Party surprise, O'Malley's packed friends. Family. Mick presiding. Toasts flowed, Elena's heart's ageless. Kai's best plot dad. Jamie's gift, reel of a clips from nights. Weddings. Kai's birth. To more chapters. Post-party. Balcony stars, scared. He asked. Excited. I lied. Truth, time's thief. But his kiss, we've got plot left. Spring renewal, Kai's thesis film our story. Fictionalized. Premiere tears, standing O. Summer travels, Italy. Amalfi Cliffs kisses salty. Pasta indulgent. Fall book, tour end, home. Quiet joy. Winter's gift, Jamie's proposal wait. No. Our third vow. Casual. Forever's flexible. He joked. At 60. Heart's not Donnie, it's directing the sequel. Love's grand finale pending. Decades turn etched deeper, 60s to 70s. Time's gentle thief. Kai graduated. Theo partner solid wedding plans. Us officiating. Vows under oaks, like you too. They echoed. Grandpa's now. Talks bubbled. Jamie's retrospective at MoMA, career arc. Panels packed. I moderated. Pride thick, from one night to legacy. Q&A, fan question. Advice for age gap loves. His grin, dive in depth as reward. My second book, Echoes of Us. Kai co-author. Tours lighter. Virtual nods. Royalties grew foundation, queer housing. Elders/youth bridged. Health's whisper, my heart murmur. Annual checks. Jamie's vigilance, meds. Yoga. Team effort. He said. Downward dog wobbling. Elena's empty nest, Sophia's school. Boys' college. Reunions rarer. Deeper stories evolved. Losses mourned, mixed passing. Quiet toast. Kai's directorial debut, festival darling. Us front row. After party, his hug. Your night inspired. 70th Eve, surprise trip rainy Manhattan Redux. O'Malley's success report. Memories swirled. Hotel suite, slow dances. Whispers. Best chapter. This onious. Enduring. Dawn, to 70. He toasted. Heart full, love's not forgotten night, it's every dawn after.